tell me, hey, can we like step back and maybe talk about something in like a nice way? People are just walking away from me, and that was the last thing I needed when I was going through some hardcore therapy for some really bad trauma that happened. And it's better now, but I still kind of like, there's some bad days and good days, but
It's
so yeah.
interesting because you bring that up, and one of the things that I find that's lacking in so many yoga teacher trainings, I don't care what color they are, I don't care if they're diverse, I don't care, is
Right.
understanding about it's a physical practice that brings up a lot of shit.
Oh, hell yes, it does.
And if you are not ready in some way, shape, or form to have that person be okay before they walk out of that door, along with the other participants, before they walk out of that door, then you really can cause a whole lot of harm by not
Yep.
doing anything. If one thing that but I'm a trained clinician. And I don't mean that people
Yeah.
have to be a therapist or
Right.
in recognizing that someone is in pain or that you can tell by body language what's happening in a
Oh,
small group when people walk away from you to say, hold on a minute. This is also yoga. We're going to hold up on a minute on this class before we move on.
right.
And so we need to take a moment to make sure that everybody's okay. Some kind of acknowledgement, something. You don't have to put all the shit together. But then you
Right.
also need to be able to say after, are you okay? Do you need any help? Can I something? That's
Something.
not a part. That's some kind of what I've noticed is this like trauma informed yoga. I've been trying to figure that stuff out because I'm
I've seen
wondering
a lot of that.
because my big thing would be it's like anybody could hang out a shingle and say, I'm a counselor, I'm a coach, I paid for this online, and now I'm a coach. And I'm
Right.
going, you know, how many years of school did I have to do therapy? You're a coach?
Right.
Is this safe? That would be like what I ask myself. I mean, what I ask
Right.
is like, what do you mean trauma informed? Who's doing the training of that? That kind of stuff.
Exactly. And like sometimes you might not think what you're saying is gonna traumatize or bring up trauma to
Right,
someone.
right,
And, people want to laugh about trigger warnings. And I say, fuck you if you want to laugh about trigger warnings, because if I just hear a trigger warning, I can control myself and be like, okay, this might be something that might trigger my trauma. And I can then set myself up to have like my shield, or
right,
it's going to
right,
be okay, and you're safe now,
right.
because years of therapy have made me realize that, one, just because your family is family doesn't mean they're family. And it's okay if you don't want to talk to them anymore. And that took a
Right.
long time
Yeah,
for me
sure.
to realize. And I was going through that. And the amount of tears in my pieces of rubber squares, it's like half tear and half rubber, of good and bad. I mean, and that's a lot. Like, I get iffy about, a lot of YTTs that are doing like the yoga therapy. But
Yeah.
I also, is this person who's going through this training doing it for the yoga therapy or actually to help people? Because that's a big difference too. Like, maybe that will trigger something to go into, more schooling for therapy, which would be
Mm,
great. Which
right.
it would be great, because I mean, the more therapists we have, it might get a little cheaper, because that's not cheap here in America.
No,
It's
it's not.
fucking ridiculous.
Yes.
But the stigma is going away, which is great, because, and a lot of people are different. Like, at that time, I probably would have not wanted someone to ask me what's wrong, and
Right.
that's like what you're saying, like the body language is so important, and getting to know your students is so important.
Mm,
And for a long time, I was like, I don't ever want to be a yoga teacher. I just don't. I really like practicing. I don't know if I'm up for that. And plus, the price tag that was everywhere. I'm like, who in the fuck can just drop 10 grand,
right.
go to India, or drop 5 grand? Like, I don't know about anyone else who, maybe some of those richies in that first yoga studio just because
Right.
they're bored. But like that's really, it's not that, it's slightly ableist, but it's very consumerist too. And that
Sure.
goes into the capitalist bullshit that everyone wants to push about yoga, and that is also goes with the whole yoga asana, because that's one limb of like
One limb.
yoga, one limb. And I didn't know that for a long time too, and I was one of those idiots that was like namaste at the end, and like, what was it, Susan Bartaki? I might be saying her last name wrong, but she is an amazing like woman and resource for white yogis to wake up.
I will say something
Because
because some people that
yeah,
are
go ahead.
listening may have actually seen my post. That particular person that you are talking about did
Yeah.
not stop a white yogi friend of mine who actually did an ally um, interview. I'm not going to say who it is right now.
No problem.
However, she made a point, and people in that post attacked her. I went on that post and I said that this person, Susan, that you mentioned, had a
Mhm.
responsibility to stop that
Yep.
and to not encourage that because she was a white woman.
Mhm.
And I watched that bullying. And so I don't follow that person anymore. I was sitting here
That's
going,
fair.
when you said that, and I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, I thought so too, up until that point.
Interesting.
Up
No,
until that point. I will
I'm gonna
send.
do some secret squirreling.
No, it's okay. I'm going to send it to you, but it's the reason why
Yes.
I don't.
Mhm.
And I think it speaks
That's
to
okay.
sometimes there are people who are on Instagram. If you talk about consumerism, it doesn't mean that a person of color can't be in that spot.
Absolutely.
Doesn't mean that a person who comes out like I know it all, I'm the be all and end all, is not in that
Right.
space. Until you actually see something like that, I was shocked, but I was furious.
Oh
I was
yeah.
absolutely furious. And it just kept going on and on and on
That's really too bad.
and attacking because they weren't listening to what she had to say.
Yeah. Instead of having an adult conversation, like it's okay to, you know, have your thoughts and stuff.
Right,
But if there's legit proof,
right,
like, and I'll be the first to admit, hey, I was wrong.
right.
And let me know how I can fix this, because
Exactly.
that was the best advice that I've ever gotten from any boss anywhere. I've been working since I was 15. I'm 36. I don't give a shit how old people know
Right.
how old I am. Like it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
But
I'm long past that.
you look amazing.
I'm
Seriously.
seriously long past that one. I don't give a shit. Whatever.
No,
Less to be able to see every year. That's the way I look at it.
right. Same. And, and it's really unfortunate when people just want to dig their heels in. And I've seen that a lot the last year. And last year, I had to unfortunately step back from a 14-year relationship because of just the awfulness coming out of this person. And people change, they do. When they're like, I don't change, you do.
You
you
do.
you morph, you learn. Hopefully you learn from your mistakes and you
Hopefully, yes.
continue to learn. But this particular friend, it was like 2 steps forward, 10 steps back. And it hurt, and it still kind of hurts because it's still pretty fresh,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a long relationship to just be like, I can't anymore.
Right, right.
Driving an hour home, fighting back tears isn't a healthy friendship.
Mm-mm.
It just is not.
Oh, God, no.
And I had to put some very strong boundaries with my family, my immediate family. And I have opened up about it online. So, I don't mind talking about any of that, or, saying my truth or whatever, because it's a part of my healing and what I have to do for myself, because you have to take care of yourself. But it's
Right.
really interesting that I've gotten attacked on a few posts too with these white fragile ass yogis. I sent you one. Super Dope Man on Instagram is amazing. I love all her
Yes.
plants. I'm just like, she's awesome. She posted last year. It's amazing how these white yogis can bend into positions but anti-racism.
Yes.
And I put in my caption, and I don't think white people should charge for yoga. And I still stand by that.
Uh-huh. And
And
people are
bring
attacked.
up the hate. I don't care. Because when I took the yoga teacher training, they did a good job bringing up the facts of colonialism in India
Mm-hmm.
and how it was almost taken away.
Mm-hmm.
And, doing a lot of research on generational trauma and stuff, because it's a real thing, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what people want to say it's not.
Of course.
As a white person, I'm trying to do what I can because my government is not doing what they should.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish more people of my skin tone would do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a slow shift, unfortunately, but oh man, this one lady's like, how am I supposed to feed my children? Because that's exactly how I read how she was typing it. I'm like, for real? You're like, you are going to attack me on my opinion? Get the fuck out of here. Like, get the fuck out of here, because I do not have time for you. Go and look through my feed and maybe read some of those books that I've been posting too, because your white fragility and your feelings do not matter in this point. They do not fucking matter.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. You need to do the research on how our ancestors basically pillaged the world because they thought they were better than everyone else. And it's not. And then another's like, why does it always have to be about race? Bitch, because our white ancestors made it about race. So get the fuck out of here. Go read some books and come back when you want to have an adult conversation.
Right.
And like, I will, after I've, done a lot of reading and really